Good evening. How are you? So tonight I'm talking again about Mars, and I'm going to refer you to today's news taken from the BBC News website. The link is in the description below. Have a read of that. So I hope you're aware that we are, as a human race, going to colonize Mars. They've been talking about it for a long time. It's going to be private firms. And, well, let me read you a quote from the news today. Nothing like today's news, is there? Okay, so, there's competition, right? All these people that are applying to go on a one-way ticket to Mars. Why is it a one-way ticket? Well, we're told that the atmospheric pressure difference, the gravitational difference, basically certain conditions means that the human body will adjust to life on Mars, and that it will not be possible to return to the Earth and readjust back to Earth's conditions. So it's a one-way ticket. Now, I have a problem with that. Okay, it sounds feasible on the surface, but couldn't it be said in reverse that you couldn't survive leaving the Earth and going to Mars because of the differences? So why is it only a problem coming back? Why is it a problem? Why is it not a problem going there? I put it to you that they will not be allowed to come back to Earth because of the stories, because of being approached by the media, by journalists, being interrogated by the media, asking a lot of questions, maybe whistleblowers. I would say that there'll be a few discoveries on Mars that won't want to get out to the general public here on Earth. I don't know, maybe. It's just a thought. Okay, so we're definitely going to colonize Mars. Now let me read a quote from today's news. Okay, so the first private spacecraft to land on the red planet will carry experiments carried by students and school pupils. Mars 1 will send a robot lander similar to NASA's Phoenix to test water purification and solar power molecules for future colonists. Did you hear that? For future colonists. Now this is no surprise. Alright? Anyone who keeps up with the news knows that we are going to Mars. Okay? The firm plans to establish a human settlement on Martian soil by 2025 by offering passengers a one-way ticket. Right, now, this is what I want to talk about on the video today. Okay, now, we've never been to Mars, have we? Well, in actual fact, I beg to differ. Of course we've been to Mars. We've been to Mars, I think we went to Mars possibly thousands of years ago. I strongly suspect that the ancient Egyptian civilization went to Mars, and probably civilizations dating back further than that. But that's another story. That would require another video on its own, so we'll not go there on this occasion. But humans have been to Mars before, I suggest, and I also believe that it's been visited by alien civilizations also. So it's not the first time going to Mars. But as far as I'm playing devil's advocate here, okay? As far as we're all concerned, as far as the general public, as far as what we're taught in the mainstream, or the lamestream as I call it, as far as we're concerned, we've never been to Mars. This is a first. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you right now. This is a very important question, and I need you to ponder this. Okay, if we want to settle somewhere else in our solar system, fair enough. Seems like a very, we're progressing as a human race. Let's spread out. Let's spread our wings. Let's go and colonize somewhere else. It seems like a good idea. Okay, no problem with that. But we've never been to Mars before, apparently. Okay. So my question is, what about the moon? Right? Supposedly we've been to the moon. The moon's only down the road. Right? The moon's a stone throw. It's like 250,000 miles away. Mars is a long way away. Okay. Now, okay, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, because Mars is perhaps a bit more habitable. It's got a little atmosphere on it, a very thin atmosphere, not a very hospitable atmosphere, but it's more of a foundation, okay, did you hear yourself? Okay. They're talking about living underground on Mars. what they're talking about is underground bases on Mars. Very controlled, artificial living uh, places on Mars. We're not talking about them wandering, growing lawns and kind of planting trees and wandering around and living a life similar to that of the Earth. We're talking about very artificial conditions underground. Okay, so if that's the case, could that not be done anywhere? Could we not build underground living quarters and underground cities on the moon? I think there is already, but that's another point. That's another thing. That's another subject. Okay, but if it doesn't matter about the atmosphere and what have you, okay, then why not the moon? The moon seems like a better option. Yeah, and we've been there before, apparently. Okay, so what's all this about going to Mars? I put it to you that Mars is indeed habitable. I would say that Mars isn't as luxurious as the Earth. The Earth is pretty cool. You got to admit. We live here. I mean, it's pretty damn good. I mean, it's thriving. It's great. But and we're used to it. But I would say that that Mars is possibly livable. I always did think so. They call it the red planet. If you look at early Hubble telescope pictures, it's not a red planet at all. This redness that you see on modern day pictures, it's like they put that tint in there, right? They photograph barren areas. There's barren areas on the Earth. If a Martian, right, from a Martian civilization sent a probe to the Earth to take pictures, right? Yeah, they can land one in the middle of the desert and report back to the Martians that life on Mars is dead. There's nothing here. It's all barren. Of course they could. Of course there's vast expanses on the Earth of barrenness and nothingness. Yeah, just like there is on Mars. We've not seen all of Mars. I believe there's trees, there's lakes, there's well, I believe there's cities. And again, I'm saying this and not substantiating my claims because that's not what this video is about. I want you to ask those questions. Why are we going to Mars? Is there a reason we choose Mars? I know why we're not choosing Mercury. I know why we're not choosing Venus. I know why we're not choosing Jupiter. I mean, there's obvious reasons why those planets aren't chosen. I mean, Mercury it's far too close to the sun. It's not the hottest planet. Venus is, but you've got the very dense clouds on Mars, and they're not clouds like ours. It's what is it rich in? It's rich in some poison. Is it methane or is it sulfur? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's not habitable. Maybe it's habitated, but it's not habitable by us, right? That's clear. Venus, my goodness, you wouldn't last a second on Venus. Jupiter's a gas planet, and for goodness sake, if you're on Jupiter, you wouldn't be able to get up. The gravity's so much greater. So yeah, Mars, as far as the planets go, is fine, but the moon would seem to me, if you're going to live underground, it would seem like and then of course we can pop backwards and forwards. I don't see why anyone has to go and emigrate to another planet and stay there. That doesn't seem like progress to me. If we progress as a human race and we go and colonize and travel and explore the universe, right, or the universe that's within reach of us, then surely that's only progress if we can come and go. And I bet you there will be people that come and go, but you won't hear about them because there's probably people that come and go now, but you won't hear about people coming and going because that will let the cat out of the bag, won't it? Then people will ask questions. Well, why isn't my cousin who went off to Mars? Why isn't he allowed back? For a holiday or whatever. Anyway, a few thoughts, and I'll feel free to comment.